Hello, this is Haley Farmer, and today I will be talking about whale sharks, more specifically how they feed and survive, and what kind of threats they face today. Whale sharks are the largest fish in the world, yet they survive on some of the tiniest creatures in the ocean. Today I will explain how they do that, how they live such long lives, and what dangers they are currently facing today. Whale sharks, or Rhancodon typus, are often called the gentle giants of the ocean. Even though they can grow up to 40 feet long, they're completely harmless to humans and rely entirely on tiny plankton for food. They live in warm, tropical oceans around the world and play a major role in marine ecosystems. In this presentation, I will cover three main things: how whale sharks feed, how they survive in their environment, and the threats they face today and what's being done to protect them. So this is a map here of just their migratory route and the concentrated populations during their season. Next, I will go over their feeding style, which is filter feeding. One of the most fascinating things about whale sharks is how they eat. They are filter feeders, which means they feed by straining tiny organisms from the water. They have two feeding methods. The first one is suction feeding, where they actively pull water in and prey into their mouth. And then there is ram feeding, where they swim with their mouth wide open and let the water naturally flow into their mouths. Using these three methods, whale sharks can filter thousands of liters of water in per hour. They catch plankton, krill, and small fish. A study by Mata and colleagues in 2010 showed in detail how efficient their filter feeding system is and how it helps them survive with minimal energy use. Next is feeding adaptations. The whale shark's body is perfectly adapted to this feeding style. Their mouth can be over 1.5 meters wide, which helps them take in a huge amount of water at once. Even though they have over 3,000 tiny teeth, they don't use them to chew. Instead, these teeth help guide food inward. Inside their mouth, they have special structures called gill rakers that act like strainers. These trap food while letting water pass through. Their slow, gentle swimming is another adaptation. Moving slowly helps them conserve energy while spending hours near plankton-rich areas. And here is some examples of their feeding style. In addition to their feeding adaptations, whale sharks have several survival strategies that help them live really long lives. One of the biggest strategies is migration. Whale sharks travel thousands of kilometers each year. They follow plankton blooms and warm currents. This allows them to feed efficiently all year round, which is really cool. They also have a unique reproductive strategy. Whale sharks are ovoviviparous, meaning that their eggs actually hatch inside the mother and then she gives birth to the live baby whale shark. A single litter can contain dozens of pups, though very few survive to adulthood, which is sad. Whale sharks are long-lived animals with a lifespan of 70 to 100 years, and they grow slowly, reaching maturity around 25 or 30 years. Their thick skin, sometimes up to 3 inches thick, and their massive size helps protect them from most predators. Ronner and colleagues in 2015 studied these behaviors and confirmed just how important migration and feeding patterns are for whale shark survival. Here is another map, just like the first one that I put in here, of just their migration and their concentrated populations. And this goes again with behavior and habitat. Whale sharks prefer tropical and warm temperature waters. They spend a lot of time near the surface because that's where most plankton is abundant. Some of the most famous whale shark hotspots include Ningaloo Reef in Australia, the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, and parts of the Philippines. These areas often have seasonal plankton blooms, which attract large groups of whale sharks. These predictable gatherings are extremely important for research and for conservation. Next is human threats. Unfortunately, whale sharks are facing several serious threats today. First are boat strikes or boat collisions. This is a major issue. Whale sharks swim very close to the surface, making them easy targets for fast boats. Many whale sharks have scars and injuries from collisions. Next is fishing and bycatch. This is still a danger in some parts of the world. Whale sharks can be caught intentionally for their meat or accidentally as bycatch in nets. Plastic pollution is also becoming a threat because whale sharks filter feed. They can easily ingest microplastics, which may harm their health over time. Finally, even tourists can be harmful when it's not too regulated. Too many boats or tourists touching or crowding the animal can stress whale behavior and interrupt their natural behavior. Climate change is another growing threat. As ocean temperatures rise, plankton patterns change. This can disrupt whale sharks' feeding and their migration routes. They may arrive to feeding sites only to find the plankton is no longer there. Coral reef loss is also another issue because reefs support the plankton, rich ecosystems whale sharks depend on. Finally, ocean acidification, the result of excess carbon dioxide, can impact plankton populations themselves. Since whale sharks rely on plankton for survival, changes at the base of the food chain can have a huge impact on them, which is really sad. Next is conservation efforts. Because of all these threats, whale sharks are now listed as endangered on the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or the IUCN. They're also protected under CITES Appendix 2, which regulates international trade in whale shark products. There are also positive efforts happening worldwide. First is the ecotourism program, which helps protect whale sharks by providing economic incentives to keep them safe. Research and tagging programs help scientists track migrations and understand behavior. And citizen science projects where tourists upload photos of whale shark patterns help identify and track individual animals. Pierce and Norman's 2016 review for the IUCN shows that while threats are increasing, conservation programs are slowly improving whale shark protections. To wrap up, whale sharks are incredible animals that show how complex and balanced ocean life can be. They're uniquely adapted to filter feeding, long-distance migration, and long lifespans. But despite their size and strength, they're vulnerable to human activity and environmental changes. Protecting whale sharks isn't just about saving one species, it's about protecting entire ocean ecosystems. Their survival depends on maintaining healthy oceans, reducing pollution, and supporting responsible conservation programs. Thank you for listening.